Hello, all, and welcome back. It's been a while to Movie Bears Podcast TV. We have taken a bit of a hiatus over the holidays, but now that they're over, and now that one of our own has returned from his otherworldly travels, we are back in the saddle again and ready to discuss some awesome sauce TV stuff with you guys. And of course, with me as always are my co-hosts, Casey Scott.
Hello, good to be back. Happy 2015, everybody.
Yay, 2015. Woo.
Yeah.
And Stephen Heslin. Welcome back, Stephen.
Bonsoir, mon ami. I don't know how to say it. I don't even know if I'm speaking the right words.
I was like, weren't you in some country where you had to speak another language?
We were in France for a little bit, and then England and Ireland, and we were in parts of Ireland where they speak actual Irish, but
fun.
Yeah, but
nice.
It was interesting.
Are you gonna give us an Irish language?
I wish I could. I mean, I only heard parts of it, and it's completely foreign. It's not a language you hear that often, so it's hard for me to sort of even mimic it. But it's very interesting.
Interesting. Well, we are glad to have you back, and we are glad to be back. It's kind of been a little while. I think the last time we all sat down was before Christmas. So
yeah, it was like the beginning of December. It's been a month, I think.
I know. It seems like forever ago. So we are back, and we are going to be reviewing 3 premiere episodes tonight. We'll be discussing the opening of Season 2 of Looking on HBO, as well as ABC's premiere of Agent Carter, which was 2 episodes that we got for the price of 1, aired on the same night. And, of course, we'll be talking about another HBO show, Togetherness, from the Duplass brothers. So, a lot to discuss tonight. Are you guys ready to just jump right in?
Let's get through this.
Absolutely.
Let's get through this. Are you not looking forward to the conversation?
No, I am. No, that's the thing. Is I want to jump into it. I probably shouldn't have said get through it. That's not.
I was like, does someone need to go potty? Like, did you not go before we got in the car? Like,
I was so excited I didn't pee. Let's get through it.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, here we go. We'll begin with our discussion of Looking. All right, so Season 2 of Looking. Stephen, why don't you kind of kick things off for us a little bit? Maybe just touch on, kind of the premise so far and your opening thoughts.
So, Looking, we reviewed it previously on the show, and it's a story of 3 friends in San Francisco who are all gay males, and sort of just their lives and love lives, and in modern San Francisco and being gay males. And it was something in the first season. I think we all sort of started off a little rocky, and then we all, I believe, sort of enjoyed how the season ended and how the show progressed, because it seemed to become more real. We related a little bit more with it. And the characters became more rich and interesting. And it was kind of a short season. I think it was only like 6 or 8 episodes, if I remember.
I think it was 8 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. I was actually looking forward to coming back. Sorry, I had to.
Did you?
Probably right. I probably didn't have to.
No, it was perfect. It was.
So it's from writer-creator Michael Lannon. He's the writer also, I believe, right? It stars who are the stars? Jonathan Groff, Frankie Alvarez, and Murray Bartlett. Basically, it picks up pretty much right where it left off. There's probably a small time gap, and we sort of come into the story where they're going off on a little mini vacation into the redwoods up in Northern California. And at first, I wasn't sure if it was the Russian River, which is sort of a big hangout place for gays up in that area. But I've never been to the Russian River, so I didn't recognize it. I don't know if you guys have ever been there.
I think it is Russian River. Because in press
It
releases for the show, they were like, "Yeah, they go to Russian River in the premiere." I was like, "Okay." I've only seen porns made there. So
yeah, exactly.
I've never been. I've no idea.
Russian River Rendezvous.
Yes,
or Lazy Bear or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, I had just assumed it. I hadn't read anything, and I didn't hear them mention it. But they're going to a cabin that was lent to them by what's his name's character from last season?
Lynn. Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula. Thank you. And who we didn't see in this episode, he's just alluded to. We saw him in a painting, which was very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so they sort of discuss sort of what's been going on with them, sort of recapping from last season, and then they end up at sort of a rave party in the woods, which seemed a little unrealistic the way it was sort of put together, but it was very well. It was beautiful, and it was, the music was fun and everything, but it just didn't seem like a real party. And also one of the first real bear characters was introduced, prancing along the side of the river and calling out one of the guys because he had a beard. But may play a little bit more of a bigger role, no pun intended on that one also, in the series. And he was cute, actually. He was really cute, and I like how they didn't make a big deal out of his size or shape. He was just a guy, And,
well, I want his shirt. He was interested wearing the shirt "Big Fun," and I really want that.
Yeah,
I really want that shirt because it makes me seem more outgoing and extroverted than I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there was nothing really major in the episode. You see a little bit of some of the stuff between that guy and his boss, rekindle towards the end of the episode, but it just sort of was coming back in, and I liked it. I thought it brought you back to the familiar place of where the characters were, and I like their interactions. I think they're really hitting their groove now of being natural with each other, and the conversations seem they flow well, and so I'm really looking forward to sort of watching the season progress. It's not one of those major dramas, where big stuff happens or people die or anything. It's just sort of slice of life, and I think they're doing it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree with you. I think, watching back last season, you're right. We kind of initially were like, not quite this is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I think I was the only one who was raving about it in the I was like, oh my god, what's wrong with you guys? I love this show. Yeah.
Well, I know for me, like, part of it was some of the marketing and advertisement last year. It was being billed as a show for the rest of us. But yet the main cast was all, everyone was under 200 pounds and
exactly.
Right. And so, as the season went on, I definitely got more invested in some of the characters, and that was helpful. But even by the end of the season, I wasn't like, oh my god, this is the best show ever. Part of that for me was that, having seen and loved Weekend, I did that. Maybe my expectations were a little high coming into season 1. So I've since been able to kind of reset and sort of acclimate to the show's style. And so coming into season 2, I was kind of lukewarm, like, okay, Looking's back, all right, we'll watch it. But I was really, really happy with the first episode. I'm really pleased that they kind of stepped away from San Francisco for a little while. Made it feel a little more rural, which was nice to see the characters like out of their like big city element and in more of like an intimate sort of foresty setting. I think you got a little more of like that Golden Girls feel.
That's true. Yeah.
Good analogy.
Which was nice. And then I really loved like the dance party in the woods scene. it was like having Babylon from Queer as Folk in the middle of a forest, and
Yeah.
and it was awesome. I loved it. It was
I agree, and that's the thing. I don't want to be misconstrued. It's like I really liked that scene and those scenes. It just didn't feel real, but I enjoyed it and I wanted to be there. You know.
Right.
Absolutely. I do love now we have a Bigger Bear character as a Bigger Bear myself. You know, I didn't even know he was going to be on the on the series. I really hadn't read much press about season 2. So when they're like in the rowboat, like going by on the beach, I'm like, oh, look at that hot Big Bear up there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but of course we're not going to see him up close. No interaction. He's just background fodder, I'm sure. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
You know, and so now he's got a very prevalent role, and it's great to see that. I'm anxious to see where they go the rest of the season with this character's name, and good stuff all around for me. I think the thing with the boss, like Patrick and his boss Kevin, and then Richie. That triangle thing still drives me a little crazy. I'm still a little like, really? Why are we still on this?
I know it seems a little tired, but I think it's they're just sort of kind of catching you up to where they were, and it'll go in a different direction, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. And I'm definitely loving the heck out of their fag hag. What's her name? Doris?
Oh, Doris.
Yeah,
Doris.
she was awesome. She's such a natural actor. I mean, I really feel like those aren't lines she's reading. She's just speaking. She does a great job.
Yep. Absolutely. And I love Scott Bakula. We didn't see him in this episode, obviously, but yeah, you're right. That painting of him,
that was amazing.
Hilarious.
I would wish that was a real like fan painting or something that they used, like he had, and they just happened to use it. That they didn't make it for the show. That would have been awesome.
That would be great. And then I swear, when they were looking through the photograph album of Lynn when he was younger, I really think one of those images was a screen capture from a Quantum Leap episode.
Could have been.
Yeah, could be wrong. I could be wrong, but anyway, Casey, what did you think?
I loved it. I thought it was great. Well, I'm surprised. Well, I guess maybe. Well, the guy who plays the bear guy is Daniel Francesi. I think is how you pronounce it. And everyone in every game should know him from Mean Girls. So he's been around for years and years. And then he came out a couple years ago, and it was kind of not news, but it was great he came out. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. I knew he was going to be on the show because he tweeted about it, and I was not expecting him to disrobe like in the first episode and get naked already. I was like, oh wow, okay, we're going there looking okay. No, I really liked it. I definitely feel your concerns about the whole Patty and Kevin thing, the boss thing, but I think it's interesting that he's still doing this, and you see him like talking to his older friend about like, well, you get to say you have a boyfriend and blah blah. So he's sort of pining for this, pining for a relationship. But the fact that he's carrying on with this guy instead of trying to patch things up with Richie shows that he's not ready for a relationship. So it's kind of like he's kind of fooling himself. It's kind of, a lot of us do that where we're kind of like, oh, I want a relationship so bad, and it's like, well, no, I think you just really want to have sex and not have the difficulties of a relationship.
Exactly.
Which is what he got with Richie. He had great sex, and then once things got a little rough, he sort of bailed and had sex with the boss. But no, I really liked it. One of the things I've always liked about this show is sort of the camaraderie. The idea of having a group of gay friends for a really long time is something that I find very appealing, but I've never experienced that. So
agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's like.
Exactly.
So for whatever reason that is, but it's nice to be able to see that on TV and kind of it gets you thinking about your situation in life. It gets you thinking about your relationships with people.
Yeah.
And
what did you think of the labeling of the bear characters having a house in Virginia?
I've never heard that before.
I've never
and I was like,
I'm
going to start saying that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start adopting that. I'll put that.
I was wondering if it was a fetch moment, where they're just trying to start something that doesn't
exactly.
exist.
I was like, did you make this up looking? Like, did Andrew Haig make this up? Like, I've never heard that in my life, and I would think I would know. But I can put it in all my profiles.
I'm Googling it right now. Let's see.
I'm from Virginia. I was like, oh, God, you got to be kidding me.
But I thought that was an interesting way of doing it. But how would you know, unless you were in the know, that meant HIV?
Right.
So I'm on UrbanDictionary.com, and it says it's a polite dinner table way of saying someone has HIV.
They just added that last night. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
They added that at like 11 o'clock after the show.
Did they?
Like, oh shit, people are going to Google this. Let's add this to Urban Dictionary, Wikipedia. That was very weird for me. But I don't know. I think it's interesting that once, the whole concept of using Molly, as it's called in the show, that's like a common problem in the gay community. It's like a big deal, and so I thought it was rather interesting that the show had like a flippant attitude about it.
So, question: I have very little experience with non-prescription drugs. Like, do they actually call it Molly? Like, that's a real thing then?
Yeah,
Molly?
I mean,
I always assumed Molly was a harder drug than that. I didn't think ecstasy was called Molly. I thought Molly was I thought Molly was meth.
Yeah, I didn't think Molly was meth. I thought it was somewhere in between ecstasy and meth. I mean, I think we're the three of us have like the least drug knowledge out of anyone.
I know. So it's like I'm not
sure
the kind of
there's
guy.
people watching this that are like, "Oh my God, you guys are idiots." But
right. I mean, I don't do that. I smoke a little grass. Alcohol is my go-to. Because it's available and I can get it whenever I want.
Well, yeah, and you're drunk right now, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like at the Golden Globes last night with Michael Keaton.
Right, exactly.
But I've heard it called Molly, and I know that that's what Madonna got in trouble for. Is she said she was friends with Molly or something, and people are like, "Oh, you're advocating drug use." And
oh lordy, that's a little much. But I just thought it was interesting, and it reminded me of Chris Folk in that way. But something I did notice about that party is that it seemed unrealistic to me because there were so many different body types there.
Yeah.
And it really does not ring as maybe it's different in Russian River. Maybe it's all like a big love-in or whatever. Maybe that's San Francisco, but not on the East Coast. No, it's you segregate by body type and race. Honestly, I mean it's not that kind of a mixed thing. You don't go to parties where you have different body types. Honestly.
So I mean, I don't live on the East Coast, but I've been to Bear Lake and P-Town, and I was watching an interview with the creators of the show or whatnot. It was the HBO Inside Season 2, Episode 1. And they were talking about how Russian River is like the P-Town of like the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
And how it has kind of a similar feel. And I know, having been to P-Town, like at tea dances and stuff, I mean, you see someone from like every body type. Now, granted, they're usually clustered together in groups.
Right.
They're not so dispersed, you know what I mean? But I mean, you definitely kind of see everyone. So I thought it was kind of cool, maybe a little unrealistic, perhaps. But maybe there's something about being in the woods with fairies. Like, maybe the fairies get people to interrelate or something. Who the fuck knows?
And drugs are like the common commonality. It's like, well, I'll just get high and have fun together regardless of our body types.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In some kind of drug wonderland. Which I need to mention that once again, whoever the music supervisor is on the show is great.
Yeah, they do a really good
job. Was great. But to have like that chick song during the thing, I was like, oh my god, lost in music. Like, I've heard this song in forever. This is such a good choice for this scene. And having the over the end credits was great. So whoever's the music supervisor in the show is doing a great job.
Yeah, I agree.
They do phenomenally well, for sure. Yeah. So, does anyone know how many episodes the season will have? Is it a full HBO?
I don't. I thought it was supposed to be more than last season. I thought it was supposed to be like 10 or 12. But I could be wrong. I don't know. It's at a weird scheduling thing because it's Girls Looking and Togetherness, and they're all 30 minutes. So it doesn't equal 2 hours of entertainment. So I think one's going to go before the others. But I'm not sure which it is. So.
What do you guys think of the open relationship thing between Dom and Lynn?
I think it makes sense for them. I mean, based on sort of Lynn not. I mean, we haven't seen their relationship really. At the very end of last season, they sort of kissed, but it was awkward because Lynn was trying to avoid him and everything. Right. So, I mean, based on what we know of their relationship, it's sort of a mutual respect relationship more than a serious relationship,
Right.
So.
I was a little surprised that they had a relationship like that, because when we left them, it seemed like a very tenuous thing, and now like he's letting Dom and his friends go to his cabin, and apparently they have an open relationship, and I'm like, how much time did we miss?
Right.
But,
well, I think also there was a line in there, about Lynn missing his, his longtime partner or something like that, and it may be something. I think they're alluding to the fact that Lynn doesn't want to commit to anyone ever again. Like he had his one love, and now he's, just sort of like, hey, I'll be together with someone, but it's not going to be the same as that one relationship I had.
Right. And actually, that's kind of why I wasn't as they keep going back to that painting of him, and I don't know. I thought I got the impression that was something done by his lover, that he'd been with forever, and so I didn't have as big a laugh over it as I think maybe the show wanted me to, because I was just kind of like, that's sweet. He has like this reminder of this guy who died and meant a lot to him, even if the painting's terrible, it has emotional value or whatever. But
now you're making me feel bad about myself.
But then they didn't go into any detail, so it could be wrong. But that's just based on what I know of that character from last season. I was kind of like, that cabin feels like a lot of reminders of the previous relationship.
Yeah.
And I think the show should have maybe gone into more of that in dealing with Dom's experiencing of that at the cabin, which they really didn't. But maybe we'll learn more about that in coming episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe. Any final thoughts on Looking, guys?
I really enjoyed it, and just want to see more. It's one of the ones where I was just like, oh yeah, Looking, but once I got into it, I was like, I really enjoy this show. So.
Yeah. No, I really like it a lot. Yeah. I still love it. Yeah.
Well, I'm growing more fond of it. I'm anxious to see where things go this season. Definitely.
Yeah. Sure.
And just give us more erasure, please. That would be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on. You guys ready to talk some Agent Carter?
Sure.
Girlfriend, yeah.
Wait. We got to focus the camera on you. Do that again.
Girlfriend, yeah.
It is so freaking amazing how you do that with your neck. I have no neck, so I can't really do that.
You look sick.
I know. I'm gonna hurl. Anyway, all right. Here we go. Our discussion of Agent Carter. All right. So I'll kind of kick things off for Agent Carter here. I will say up front, I didn't really plan on watching this show.
It shocked me. I don't know you, Brad.
I know you said that on Facebook. You're like, I don't think I know who you are anymore.
Well, I'm right there with you. Like, I was kind of like, okay, this is one Marvel thing I can pass on.
Yep. I'm like, I'm good.
Really?
I'm not like a huge fan of like that time period. And so
I love it, like the Rocketeer. Jeez, yeah, this is the one Marvel thing I was excited about.
Yeah, it's not quite my tempo typically. Not my tempo if you've seen Whiplash.
Nice.
So that coupled with her character from Captain America wasn't really like one of my favorite things about that movie. So I just didn't have like an excitement level. I thought, well, I'll kind of wait. Maybe I'll watch it once the miniseries or whatever has concluded, and I can binge watch it like I did with season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But when you guys were like, well, let's watch it, let's talk about it, I'm like, all right, whatever. So I watched the first couple episodes today, and for those who are unfamiliar with the concept, basically, Haley Atwell reprises her character from the first Captain America. Well, she was in the second Captain America as well, as an older version of herself. Spoilers. But anyway, so it picks up shortly after Cap has has ostensibly died in the Arctic tundra or whatever, and no one's treating her nicely in the office. She's the agent that's treated like a secretary. For a little while, it felt like Ally McBeal a little bit to me, like as it started up. But I actually really ended up liking it, which kind of surprised me. I would say the whole thing they have going on with Tony Stark's dad. I was really, really surprised to see that actor come in and reprise that role. I don't know if he's going to be in any of the other episodes this season.
I think he is, because they've shown previews of future ones.
Yeah, in the previews.
Have they? Okay.
He's got a longer role.
Gotcha. But it was cool seeing him. I'm anxious to see where they're going to go with this whole plot line. It's always interesting to see the technology that they're using back then and how sort of modern it is compared to what we have today. Granted, it's all Stark Industries, like future tech.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't the snooze fest that I thought it was going to be quite honest. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite shows of 2015 yet either.
Right.
But I am interested to see kind of where they go from here. What about you, Steven? You said you were kind of ambivalent too, right?
Yeah, no, I very similar. I looked at it and I was like, number one, it's a little fishy. It's starring. It's got a female lead, which it's rare for me to like a female lead. I think the last time I really enjoyed something like that was Alias, and that sort of dive bombed after season 2. But so I was like, and I agree with you. Like when I saw it's starring the character from Captain America. I thought she was just a basic supporting role. There wasn't anything about her that I loved, and and then on top of it, they sort of announced ahead of time this is a mini-series, so it's not meant to be something that's going to be multiple seasons. It's just a really extended exploration of this character. And so I was like, it just seems like a pass. But yeah, then Casey, kind of suggested it, and I was like, I was a little bit on the fence, so that was an easy push over to watching it. And I'm right there with you. I thoroughly enjoyed it, much more than I thought I would. I think the thing I enjoyed about it most was they didn't. In the movie, Captain America, she was sort of a top agent. She was part of this team. She was running things. She was at her A game. And then this is sort of after the war, and now she's sort of placed into this agency, but she's at the bottom of the rung now, and they treat her like a woman in that time period.
Right.
And
welcome to post-war America.
Exactly. And
women, we needed you before, we don't need you now.
Right.
And I thought it was an interesting take on it, that she's not, this badass agent. Even though she is a badass agent, she has these skills. She's not treated that way.
Right.
And she's also associated with, the Tony Stark's dad, and he's now under investigation because he's framed for something, and so she's got a black mark on her because she knew him, and so it's an interesting take, and I thought the action was done really well. It's not Arrow quality, but it's definitely pretty good. They give her, she doesn't fight like a woman; she fights like a super agent, and so I thought they did a really good job with that. I thought, I agree with you. There was interesting ways that they used tech of that time, and kept it going. I thought the plot was interesting. Now I want to know what Leviathan is. So I was actually really intrigued. I think it's something that I'm pretty committed to the full miniseries.
Were you surprised to see Dominic Cooper back as Howard Stark?
Not really, because in a way, it's like they can't really use that character anymore. They're not going back in time in the movies, so that was something that they sort of used up, and he would have been sort of a dead character unless they used him in something like this. So I thought this was a great vehicle for them to sort of bring that character back and, do a little bit further explanation of where Tony Stark came from.
Right. Okay. Casey, how about you, my friend?
I liked it okay. I don't see myself revisiting it. I mean, see that, I think...
It's so funny. You're the one who kind of pushed us onto it.
I know.
And then
It's like, come on, guys, it's Marvel. Like, we do every Marvel show, whether we
You're like Marvel, girl power. We gotta watch it. Come on.
You know why? Because I knew that it was something that all three of us would at least be able to watch and get something out of.
You're
that's
such
always
a
like,
giver.
Because it's always the difficult thing. It's like a lot of the shows that I want to watch, I know you guys aren't interested in. And so Agent Carter, I'm like, well, I think we all have a good basis of interests in this for different reasons. Yeah. I wanted to watch it because it's set in the 40s. I mean, I'm a sucker for anything set in 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, anything then. Even if the period detail is off and stuff, like it was on this show, it drives me crazy.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I'm just like, I would love a job as that kind of person. Like, I saw a special after the Downton Abbey premiere where it had an interview with the guy who's like the period expert.
Wasn't that amazing?
And it was great. And I was like, you know what? I need that guy's fucking job on a 50s, 60s show, because I'm like, I know this shit really well. Why? And they don't have anybody apparently to do that on these.
Yeah, and Agent Carter, she's pulling out a cell phone and.
Yeah, I was like, what in the world? And I was like, wait a minute, no. But even I don't know. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. I thought it was good. I think the acting was good. I liked the story enough. But like I said before we started, I was like, oh, yeah, we are talking about that. Oh, that's right, I did see it last week. Yeah. It's like, in between now and then and now, I've seen other things that really grabbed me much more, which we'll talk about later and in the plugs. I thought it was good. I'm glad it's a miniseries. I don't see it sustaining itself as a series.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Right. I wasn't surprised to see Dominic Cooper because he's not a star. So I was kind of like, I was like, oh, okay, good. Like, if they got Chris Evans, then I would be like, oh my God, Chris Evans, movie superstar on this show. And I was like, oh, well, they just got footage from Captain America. And actually, that was kind of the beginning of the end for me at the beginning. I was like, oh,
well, I totally
from the movies.
That was the worst part of the episode.
Yeah,
was the very beginning, the way they did that.
Because they couldn't. I don't know. They couldn't have done something a little more. I don't know. I know that it makes business sense, and I know it's good for fans of Marvel and the whole franchise. But as a non-Marvel franchise fan, it's like I don't really like this whole synergy of doing movies, TV, like interconnectivity. I really don't like it. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And,
so Marvel, you better stop doing it because Casey Scott doesn't.
Yeah,
like
because someone who doesn't like your stuff doesn't like it. Right, exactly. But the key, the market and the demographic who likes it obviously does. So if that's if they're delivering what the fans want, then that's a good thing. I just happen to not be one of those people. But yeah, I don't really like that. But
I kind of do. I kind of like the little teases in between. I think it's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, but you're a Marvel guy, right? You like Marvel and Marvel stuff.
I do, yeah. I'm really impressed with everything they do, except for some of the Thor movies.
For Asgard.
Wait, you don't like the mincing gay brother on the Thor movies?
No.
He's the only thing I like about those movies.
I know. I love Loki. I mean, Loki.
It's the one thing I like about those things because it just I don't know. I like camp. It fits in very well with me. Yeah, I thought it was good. I liked I forget what her name is. I like the lead actress a lot. I think she's really good. Some of the misogyny goes a little overboard. It's like, okay, we get it. Like, you don't like broads. It's like, okay, Jesus.
I know.
The comic relief isn't funny. Like the fat guy, who's usually funny in other stuff, and he's really hot. But he's totally wasted in this. It just, it didn't make me want to watch more. I was kind of hoping it would be something like The Rocketeer, where it's kind of like there's an element of camp, but also, it's also really exciting and fun. And I think it might help with a little bit of element of camp. But Marvel doesn't really do camp, except for Loki. Loki's like the one camp thing in all of the Marvel things. It has to be very serious, even if it's a comedy. Like, you can't mess around with it. So I liked it. I didn't love it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I have a question, because I may have missed something. We keep flashing back to the dude that attacked Agent Carter in her apartment, killed her roommate. Like, he's at his typewriter, right?
Yeah.
But, like, there are scenes where the typewriter is, like, typing without him doing anything. besides looking at it. So does he have some kind of telekinetic power? Did they explain that? And I just
no, that's the other person. He's talking to somebody, and that's the other person talking to him. He's communicating through some sort of radio frequency, and when he types, it sends a signal out, and then when the other person on the other end types, it shows up on his typewriter.
Right. Gotcha. I may have been making a bowl of cereal and a bagel while it was on in the background when that was explained, so I was really confused. I'm like,
that's trouble, because these shows shouldn't be too intricately plotted that you can't turn away to make cereal and get lost.
I'm like, I just want a bowl of multigrain Cheerios, for the love of God.
Oh my God, those are really good, Brad. Those are my favorite Cheerios. Yes.
They're awesome. Yeah. But
I thought that was one of those pieces of tech that was really an interesting way of doing that time period and showing some sort of cool communication device that nobody had.
Yeah, definitely.
I did think that it was a better show than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when I was watching it. I liked it better than Gotham.
Yes, that's for sure.
And I liked it slightly better than The Flash. So.
Did Gotham get canceled, by the way?
I hope so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's find out. Great!
I haven't heard anyone crying about it. But then again, would they if it got canceled? So
yeah.
I don't know anyone that worships that show right now. So.
Let's be fair. I know a few people who really dig it. So those people are out there. Let's see.
They would be upset.
Let's see. I just found an article. Let's see. Okay.
I don't know if Grace Point got canceled either. No, it finished. I need to finish.
No, it finished. It was a really good series.
I need to finish that.
So I don't see anything. It looks like it's still it has not been announced as being renewed yet, but has not been announced as being canceled. So it's in Fox Limbo land.
It's in limbo.
Yeah, it's in Fox Limbo, which likely means it will be canceled if they don't make it.
Right. They haven't announced it by now.
Yeah. Fox has had really terrible track record with stuff like that.
Oh man.
Yeah. Remember Almost Human?
Yeah, Almost Human. That was the last one, last season that they did.
They spent so much money on that,
Man, I know.
Fox doesn't exactly have the pulse on them, have their finger on the pulse of America's viewing audiences.
They should just let Seth MacFarlane do all their programming and then call it a day.
I guess. I mean, even they're still doing American Idol. I don't know anyone that still watches that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
Whatever. Hey, so last thing about Agent Carter, Steven, did you hear that there's just loose, fun talks floating around between the showrunners of Agent Carter and Arrow about an Arrow Agent Carter crossover?
What? How is that possible?
Yeah, I doubt it's going to be.
How are the networks going to let that happen?
Yeah, I doubt it's going to be an actual thing. But they were asked about it, and because they're married. I don't know if you know that, but the showrunners are married.
Oh, married?
Yeah, they're married, and so
that's really cool.
They were talking about having Ollie somehow get sucked back in time, and he runs into Agent Carter.
But it's DC and Marvel.
I know. That would be. I don't know how it would happen either, but they said they would totally love to do it if the networks would let them. So
I think what they should do is just do it subtly, have an Arrow somewhere in the shot,
Right. Or I don't know if you remember, but there was going to be an X-Files / Picket Fences crossover back in the 90s. I know, it was the weirdest thing ever.
That was Fox and CBS, I think.
Right. Yeah. And so they ended up not being able to do it, but they had 2 FBI agents on Picket Fences who looked like Mulder and Scully as a nod.
Oh my God.
So maybe we'll have someone running around in green leather with a crossbow.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Who knows?
Or maybe he'll have an autographed picture of Agent Carter somewhere.
Maybe.
For some reason.
Maybe he'll have a napkin with a lipstick print on it, and it's signed AC. Who knows?
Lord.
They had blue meth giving a nod to Breaking Bad, so you never know.
Oh, jeez, that's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys ready to move on to our final show of the evening?
Yeah.
Let's get together and do it.
Yeah, that's cute.
Let's have a little togetherness. All right. Here we go. Our discussion of togetherness. I really have no idea why I put the emphasis on Ness.
Togetherness.
It's
Because
not
you like pronouncing your S's.
Maybe
Yeah.
Togetherness.
I do have a question though, because I know you leave the spaces for like the music.
Yep.
But Looking and Togetherness don't have any music, so what are you gonna put in there?
Oh, I'm just gonna put the trailers.
Trailer stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell that I usually skip through that part when
I
I listen
I'm
back?
I'm like apparently Casey Scott never listens back. He doesn't know what I did
No, I
there.
listen back, but I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll skip this and get back
Uh-huh,
into the
uh-huh.
discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all good. No worries. Yeah, we'll put some generic trailer stuff in there, and we'll be fine.
Right.
But
There's a lot of good dialogue from both that would work, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do an ace's job. I'll listen this time. I'll listen because now I really want to see how you do the transitions. Yeah.
Aw. Well, Casey, why don't you kick us off? This was one that you had suggested. What is the what's the premise of Togetherness, and what were your thoughts?
Well, Mark and Jay Duplass are the creators and executive producers, and I think anyone into indie cinema or the mumblecore movement of indie cinema knows who they are. They've been around forever. I think more mainstream audiences know Mark, who's the star of the show. He's on The League on FX, the sitcom about the fantasy football league, and then Jay is on Transparent, and he plays the son on Transparent. So they usually co-direct their projects. So Mark Duplass and Melanie Linsky, who I think everyone knows from Heavenly Creatures, or should know from Heavenly Creatures, and she's I think a lot of people know her from not How I Met Your Mother, 2.5 Men. She's on 2.5 Men. They're a married couple, and their marriage is kind of rocky. And so into their lives come Mark's best friend, who's played by Steve Zissou, I think is his name. Kind of a schlubby actor guy, very funny.
Hot, I think. Hot.
Yeah, no, I think he's hot too. And he takes his shirt off in the first episode.
Like 3 times.
Yeah,
I was like, 4.
I'm like, yay, we got some burly men up in here. So Looking in Togetherness back to back with 2 burly men on there. And then Amanda Peet plays Melanie Linsky's sister, and so these Amanda Peet and Steve Zissou are they're older, but they're kind of like floundering. The whole show takes place in L.A., which is, I think it's like New York, and then it's filled with people who are trying to figure their shit out. And so it's a good match with girls. It's on the same night too.
Figure your shit out.
Yes. Well, actually, all 3 shows are... Entertainment Weekly did a really good piece about all 3 shows, gave them all really good reviews, which I agreed with. And so they're really good to be matched together because they're all 3 major cities with characters in them that are trying to figure their shit out. And, and those are 3 great cities to kind of work your shit out. Or die trying, I think, is the mantra of all 3 cities. So yeah, these 4 adults kind of find themselves under one roof for various reasons, and I really, really love this show. I would probably go out on a limb and say that this will probably be one of my favorite shows of this year.
Wow.
Yeah, it kind of, watching the pilot, watching this first episode, I was like, wow, this is how I felt when I saw the first episode of Transparent, where it's like, I really love these characters, I want to keep watching these characters, and then I learned that it's only 8 episodes long, and I'm like, fuck, like, torture, why are you only giving me 8 episodes of these people? So, I just think it's really funny, and really cleverly written. I love the interactions between the characters. And yeah, I don't know what else to say except I absolutely adored it. And
awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like it really resonated with you, which is awesome.
It did. I almost watched it twice. I was like, I really want to watch this again already. Yeah. I thought it was just really funny and sweet, and I wanted to spend more time with the characters. So
nice. How about you, Steven? Was it a home run for you?
I would say it was a double or maybe a triple.
Okay.
It was.
I'm bad with baseball analogies.
I actually am too. I'm hoping I said something clever.
I'm sorry, I don't watch basketball.
Yeah, I really liked it. The sort of trailer gave the feeling of it, and it just sort of exactly matched what I thought it was going to be. I actually am not too familiar with the Duplass brothers. I mean, what's funny is I've seen a lot of their work. I just wasn't familiar with them as the Duplass brothers, and but it's so it was kind of one of those things like why should I know why should that name carry cachet with me? But they definitely know what they're doing. I mean, this is a well-written show, well acted, well paced. It was really easy to watch and really good characters and fun situations. And the only thing for me is that it I don't know if you guys ever saw that show called Married on FX.
Yeah. I didn't like it though.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but it really reminded me of very similar themes. It's like a married couple who's kind of, they have two young kids, and they're just sort of getting by, and the married couple are like, not having sex with each other, and they're sort of figuring that out, and frustrated with the fact that they're not, but don't know why they're not, that sort of thing. And then they have the two wacky friends, so it just was very similar themes to me. So I felt like I had seen this before, but at the same time, I really enjoyed it. I can't say anything bad about it, and I'll definitely watch a few more episodes at least, but it's not the kind of thing that sort of is gripping to me. It's funny because I would say you're right, Looking is in sort of the same category where it's just sort of slice of life and fun and interesting characters, but I guess because they're gay characters, I want to watch it more, and because these are straight characters, I'm not associating with them as closely, maybe, but it's but I'll definitely give it a few more. I enjoyed it.
Well, the thing about Married for me is that I really hate those people. Because they spend every episode griping and whining and complaining at each other. Yeah. And there are moments of sweetness between the couple on this show that are in there. True. And I get the feeling like they know there's a problem and they want to fix it, whereas with Married, I think that they're just content to bitch and moan at each other. And
it's almost like they hate each other, and it's like, why are they with each other?
And so I really hate Married. But but I definitely see the comparison because, there are two shows that were very, they aired rather soon, not far apart from each other.
Yeah.
So.
But, no, that's a valid point. I think there was definitely much more tender moments in this show than there are Married.
Yeah.
I've not seen Married, so I can't really compare it, but I've heard similar things. I would totally agree with you on some of the tender moments here, but also some of the just weird kind of out of left field stuff. I really appreciated the dynamic between the Mark Duplass character Brett and the Melanie Linsky character. What's her name? Michelle, I guess, on the show.
I think so.
Yeah, and so like they're not having sex, and she's diddling herself to 50 Shades of Grey with
using
clothespins on her nipples. And
I was like, oh.
Did you guys see this the trailer for next week when she's all like dolled up and like?
Yes.
Yeah, and she's like, go to the bedroom now. Like, whoa, where's this going?
I'm excited for next week.
But it's interesting. I really was not aware of the Duplass brothers, and I'm, we talk about the whole mumblecore thing. Like, I'm not a mumblecore movie kind of guy. I didn't even know what mumblecore was till like a year ago when I saw The World's End or whatever the fuck that shitty ass movie was called. Sorry. But anyway, so my introduction to Mark Duplass was earlier last year, I guess, in seeing The One I Love, which he did with Elizabeth Moss from Mad Men.
Oh, and, yes.
Did you guys see that movie at all?
I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm a sucker for Elizabeth Moss. I'll watch her in anything.
Yeah, well, absolutely. But I thought he was really good as well. And so when Casey, when you were like, oh, we should watch Togetherness, I'm like, first, oh, that's so cute. And then second, I'm like, well, Mark Duplass, yeah, I'm game, totally. And I actually really like this episode quite a bit. Not sure where it's going. I think my favorite sort of dynamic in the show is actually the Steve Zissou character, Alex, so the best friend, and Amanda Peet. Amanda Peet.
Yeah.
I really, really liked that interaction, especially like when she's having her fucking like emotional breakdown at the guy like outside the restaurant, and he goes to, like full on actor mode to like save her embarrassment.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? That is one of the freaking sweetest things I've ever seen someone do.
Yeah, I agree.
What I mean? And
when
sometimes you need somebody to
the
come
donut.
Yes.
Like,
yes, that was good.
You'll feel good.
And she's like, "Oh my god, it's so good." And he's like, "See, I know stuff."
Right. He's like,
That's a good one.
I know shit. But I had already kind of liked his character, and then that moment just like made me fall in love with that character. And I was kind of thinking he was a little bit of a dick too, because I could have swore he heard the mom earlier being like, "Hey, I have an idea. Let's take our little baby and drown it in the ocean, just us." And he he took the kid. Anyway, like, wow, what a dick move.
Drowned it in the ocean for her.
Yeah,
I mean, it was unfortunate.
Culpability, but anyway, so I ended up really liking his character. We'll see where that dynamic goes. Mark Duplass, I don't know that he had a ton to do this episode, really, beyond a very unconvincingly try to jerk off like while his wife is sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you've ever tried to do that laying next to someone, don't you try to be a little more discreet? Like, if you can't bother yourself to go into the other room, at least don't shake the whole room while you're trying to get your business done. But it's interesting. I'll watch a few more episodes and see where it goes. I think I'm with you, Steven. I mean, I kind of liked it. I don't know that I'm like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. But I am interested to see kind of where it ends up going. And I'm down for a few more episodes. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do we have much else to say on
I don't
Togetherness?
think so.
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah, I'll just reiterate that I loved it a lot. Actually, I think the whole. I mean, I haven't watched Girls yet, but I liked last season a lot better than the second season, and the word of mouth on the premiere said it's really strong. So Sunday night on HBO is a really strong night. So I mean, that's what you should be doing on your Sunday nights, just watching HBO.
Is looking for girls in Togetherness.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
How has no one thought of that for advertising that show? Yeah, exciting. Yeah, it's a good night of TV. Good night of TV.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's move on to some plugs. For me, I would just like to plug Transparent from Amazon once again.
Oh, yes.
Watching the Golden Globes. Yeah, watching the Golden Globes last night.
I was so glad.
Yeah, I was thrilled Jeffrey Tambor,
yeah, he's so good on that show.
Yep, definitely. So if you guys have not seen this show yet, it is on Amazon Prime. Watch it. It is so good. Phenomenal stuff. Yep. Casey, what have you got for plugs?
I have 3 plugs, so bear with it.
Triple plug.
Hey, we've been gone for a month. First plug is brief. I did publish. We weren't able to do our best of TV episode, so I published my list tonight on my blog, which is movielustorbust.blogspot.com, and I will be updating more stuff on that blog more regularly. So I'll probably be plugging that more in future episodes. But yeah, if you want to see what I loved in TV last year, that's a good one. There's video clips and stuff.
Nice.
I loved Empire, which I think was getting a lot of press. It's Lee Daniels did it, which might dissuade a lot of people from watching it. And it's also about the R&B or rap music industry, which might dissuade a lot of people. But it's kind of about the rap industry, like Friday Night Lights was about football, in that it's it's a background to everything else. So I thought it was great, very compelling TV. So I definitely recommend Empire. But the biggest plug, the one I'm most excited about, Broad City is coming back on Wednesday night on Comedy Central. That was easily my favorite show of last year. Yeah, So spoilers on my best of list. That was number one.
Damn it! How dare you?
But all the rest, you'll see all the rest. You'll see all the other shows that it beat. But that show is so good. You can watch it on demand now. I think it's also on it's either on Hulu or Amazon for free. I think it's Amazon. Mm-hmm. Definitely watch it. The first season was only 8 episodes. It's a painless binge watch. You could just do it in a night, I think. Great, hilarious, brilliant show. Watch it on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, Steven, I'm so sorry. Since Casey had 3 plugs, we don't have any room for yours. So we'll see you all next week.
As long as you're not going to plug into S.H.I.E.L.D., I do want to hear your plug.
Just kidding. What's your plug, Steven?
It's I don't have anything really new. It's just sort of stuff that's returning. One of them. And this is just having to do with it's the new year, you feel inspired, you have resolutions, you want to better yourself, and it's just watching Shark Tank. I think it's one of those shows that always inspires me to go out and invent something or create something or have that American ingenuity. Just coming back from Europe, it was interesting, to see the contrast in attitudes. People in Europe who are sort of like, this is your lot in life, and you're born into this role, and this is what you do, and and it made me realize that that it really is sort of an American ideal to be like, nope, doesn't matter where you are in life, you can come up with an idea and be a millionaire, and reinvent yourself and do whatever you want to do. It's up to you. You just got to put your mind to it, and it's interesting to kind of really realize that that's sort of definitely an American attitude, and we have a lot of opportunity here that we need to take advantage of, and I think Shark Tank showcases that. It showcases a lot of people with just an idea and wanting to get it out there and get it done, and I always love watching it. And then also just after watching the Golden Globes last night, reminded me that House of Cards is coming back, and I cannot wait for it. Oh my god.
So are you gonna binge watch all of them?
No, we are slow watchers. We love stretching it out as long as possible because I don't want it over. I want it to last as long as possible.
I'm really bad about that. Like when Orange is the New Black season 2 came out, I binge watched that in 2 days, and then I was very upset because I didn't have any more to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
So I need to finish season 2 of House of Cards, and then then I'm gonna do it before it comes back.
There you go. And then, Steven, you and your partner can just watch 20 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Right? It'll take
don't even finish an episode.
An episode, yeah. Well, a lot of times that's how we do it because it's we don't want to watch it while we're eating because we want to give our full attention, so we'll watch it after. But by that time, we're getting kind of tired, so we'll start falling asleep halfway through, and it's stop it now, I don't want to miss anything. So we usually do only watch 20, 30 minutes and then pause it.
Actually, if we're all caught up on that show, we should probably cover it on
a future
episode.
Yeah,
definitely.
If you get caught up, maybe we can just pick the first couple episodes or something and talk about it.
Yeah,
that would be
good.
That would be good.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that about wraps us up for this week, guys. I have to say it is good to be back and doing it.
Yes,
absolutely.
Sorry it got delayed. Yeah. Me and my stupid vacations.
Oh, I know. How dare you take a vacation?
How dare you be globetrotting all over the place?
I know. Oh, by the way, just really quickly, it was really interesting watching TV overseas. Number one, Downton Abbey's already over there, so it's we had to really be careful about not seeing spoilers.
Right.
And then number two, we came across a show called Gogglebox, which is the original People's Couch. You know how I plugged the People's Couch? I think. It's where People's Couch came from. It's the English version, which we stole and turned into the People's Couch.
Wow!
And so it was just interesting watching the origin of it, and it was just kind of cool. And then the third thing was, after 10 p.m., there was this show about sex. But literally a sexual instruction, show on just regular TV, and they're showing penis entering vagina, and they had a camera inside the vagina with a penis coming at you.
Oh my
God.
And then ejaculating into the camera. It was unbelievable on just regular TV.
Are you sure it wasn't the Miracle of Birth video?
No, it was just like, this is what happens, and they're just showing everything. It was, but at one point they blurred out, like from a wide angle, they blurred it out. It's like, you just showed a penis ejaculating on the camera. Why are you blurring it out?
Technically, you can show stuff like that on YouTube too because it's educational.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you can see, you can watch prostate exams on YouTube because it's educational.
Let me do a Google search.
Steven's like, I know what I'm doing the rest of the night.
Well, actually, that reminds me, before we go, Steven, what did you think of Downton Abbey? Did you watch the premiere?
I really enjoyed the premiere, but I felt like it was sort of blah. But
it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay, but it had some moments. But I cannot wait for the rest of the season. I love that show.
I liked it better than last season. But I'm glad she won. She won with her rape story.
That was awesome. We were cheering so loud. Yeah.
Yeah. That was exciting.
Anna.
Awesome. All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see y'all next week.
All right. Bye, guys.